And it looks like we're live. Good evening, Guyton Christian Church family. It is I, your humble youth coordinator, Chris. What is this? What am I doing? So youth ministry, we're on something of a summer hiatus right now. Not doing a Wednesday night youth, really anything for the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna let the kids enjoy their summer break. Past couple of years have been kind of wild on them, and so since I had some free time, wasn't doing anything on a Wednesday night, I decided to go back to a type of video format that we used to do a lot of back in the early days of when we first did live streaming church services. This was the sort of pregame stream where I would sit down at the computer and I would talk to you, and you could talk to me here in the in the comments of this video. And I took prayer requests that way. I talked about all sorts of random things, and yeah, so that's sort of what we're going to be doing here. There was also the idea to do some announcements this way. You can never have too many announcements, you know, 'cause especially if you're like me, if you're anything like me, you'll hear something, you'll hear an announcement, and you'll be like, okay, cool, that's something that I need to remember. And then it gets said in the middle of the church service, and there's so many other things going on during the church service, you know. You're listening to the singing, you're worshiping in song, you're praying, you're hopefully following along and listening to the pastor's sermon, maybe even taking some notes. There's communion, all that kind of stuff, and it just goes right out of your mind. So, you know, you can never have too many exposures to announcements. Of course, we've got the newsletter that goes out every month. We've got announcements in the bulletins. We've got the slideshow that runs at the beginning of most of our live stream services. That's also visible, should be visible here in the sanctuary on the screen. Excuse me. And sometimes it's also at the end of the services. And then, of course, you've got the pastor talking about announcements at the beginning and end. I just adjusted my glasses and it knocked them completely wonky. I'm sorry about that. But the pastor also does announcements at the beginning and the end of service. And now you've got this that I'm going to be doing in the middle of the week. Just going to be flipping through some announcements and having some other things that we can talk about here. And so hopefully, you know, hopefully now no one will be like, oh, that's right, I knew about that, and then it slipped my mind, because that happens to me a lot. And I also know that there's some that are like, well, I wasn't, you know, yeah, my mom is like this. Doesn't always think to look at the screen for announcements or things like that. And so it's like, oh, nobody told me about that. Well, we did. It slipped notice. So it's all sorts of ways things can slip your notice. So I've got some announcements here. Let's actually, speaking of the announcement slides that run through, hopefully y'all are hearing me okay. I'm going to angle this a little bit more towards my mouth. I'm using this microphone, by the way. I was going to use a lapel, but the lapel that I had that I was using, it's the newer one that we've got on the pastor these days, and it was so effective. It was too effective. It was, I can always check the sound that's going into the stream by putting these headphones on. And just before I went live, I saw, I did a few sound tests and sound checks and stuff like that, and I could hear myself breathing in through the nose, right? And that's supposed to be a quiet breath, and I could hear it very loudly in the headphones. So I was like, well, let me just take that off and use a handheld mic on a mic stand, because the pastor speaks even louder than I do. His natural voice carries very heavily. He's used to projecting. He speaks from right here, the diaphragm, a lot of power behind his voice, and that's the microphone that he uses. So I turned that off. I took it off. I set it down, and I turned the I turned the volume level on that one down to where Mr. Lamar had it for Sunday, because otherwise, this coming up Sunday, when we all got in here and the pastor started talking, if he started speaking into that microphone at his normal volume, he would just blow all of our eardrums out. So this setup seemed a little bit safer. I'll probably do something a little bit less conspicuous for next week, but this is the version of this setup that I'm using this time. I can angle it a little bit more. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted at all. Whoop. Let's try. Okay. Better. All right. So, I was going to say something else, but let's get on with the announcements. Let's check out that slideshow. So you're going to see me. I'm going to disappear, and then we're going to watch some of these slides together. And, okay, so this one, that's something that's already happened. Whoops. Here we go. All right, so the Pastor's Cabinet meeting was this past Monday night. Thank you for everyone who came to that. And we had some good discussions, had some great talks about various different things that we're going to be doing, going to be trying. Talked about a whole different setup for the streaming and the screens and the soundboard, because there have been some serious problems with our setup over the past couple of weeks. And that was one of the main things that we talked about at the Pastor's Cabinet meeting. What was the next one? I've already seen it. Here it is. Loose threads. That's another thing that just passed. That was yesterday evening. Hope the ladies of our quilting group, Loose Threads, had a grand old time. What's next here? Oh, please keep playing. There we go. The Eula Powers Circle. Finally, we've got one that hasn't happened yet. June 17th, Thursday. That's not tomorrow night. That is, I believe, next week. And, a hostess and location to be announced. Okay, so that's, like I said, I think that's next week. Hopefully, y'all get everything you need and figure out your hostess and location before that comes around. Okay. Continue. Please play. There we go. Summer solstice is June 20th. That's not like a church announcement or anything, but it is something worth remembering. The solstice is the 20th. That is the longest day of the year, as opposed to the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year. And then the vernal and autumnal equinoxes, which are evenly split between night and day. Of course, now you're seeing on screen Happy Father's Day. That'll be June 20th. That's not this Sunday, but I believe that is next Sunday. Well, here we are in the middle of the week, and I'm talking about this Sunday. Well, so this coming up Sunday is, I actually have a calendar in front of me so that I don't have to sound as dumb as I sound right now. So this Sunday is the 13th, and then next Sunday, the Sunday following, will be the 20th, a.k.a. Father's Day. Make sure to remember to get your fathers something. Father's Day is a much simpler holiday for me than Mother's Day. I think that's true for just about everybody, but for those of y'all that don't know, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and my grandfather, one of my maternal grandfather, passed away when I was in high school. So I just have the one paternal grandfather, only one person I got to buy gifts for. this month, but I do still need to remember to run out and get Papa something. Okay, what's our next? Disciples Men. That's the day after Father's Day, June 21st. It's the third Monday. Why? This thing is not responding to my commands the way I want it to. There we go. June 21st at 7 p.m. at the Christian Center. Mr. Bill Exley will be hosting. That looks to be a good time. I managed to make it to last month's men's ministry meeting, and that was a lot of fun. Good time. Mr. Clyde was our host for that one. And then Mr. Bill will be our host this time. That's Monday, June 21st. I'm not sure what's in store for us, but I have heard something perhaps about a catfish fry for dinner. It's always delicious. Young at Heart, June 24th at 11 a.m. in the Christian Center. Some bingo. Right. Please don't forget that if you are or would like to be someone who regularly joins the Young at Heart group for bingo. I've actually walked in on them. I haven't been a part of bingo very often, but I have walked in on them doing their stuff a couple of times, and it always looks like a bunch of fun, but I always am running around doing like 1,000 different things. Like this past month, they were setting up for VBS, also around the same time that Young at Heart was going on, and then I was filming a portion for Worship and Wonder and getting that stuff ready. So I kind of walked in. Oh, and I think, you know what? Anyway, it seems like a lot of fun. So please remember that. Okay, we've got our standard make sure to stay safe and stay clean stuff. Got several birthdays. Jocelyn Bailey, Jesse Massey, Marcy Proctor, Christian Peterson. That's one of mine. Let's see. The 13th is a Sunday, too. Hopefully he's in Sunday school that day and I can embarrass him. Ha 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 ha. Always fun to tease folks about their birthdays. June anniversaries, Russ and Amanda Dean. I hope y'all had a good... Why aren't you pausing? Hope y'all had a good anniversary. And then George and Marie Hill later this month. All right. And we got... Alrighty. Also, Family Promise. Wait, why are you not... Come on, please. I'm asking nicely. All right. So next week, this will be a completely different setup. I won't be running you through and trying to catch and pause the announcement slides as they run. They're saved as an MP4 this time. Next time, they'll need to be saved as a PowerPoint presentation and an MP4 for the basic purposes. And I'll be able to switch between those at will, and I won't be relying on this faulty play pause function here in the streaming software. But yes, so Family Promise of Effingham County, our church is hosting that the dates of July 4th through July 10th. So if you're interested in helping out with Family Promise, which if you don't know is it's a ministry here in Effingham that our church helps out with. A number of other churches help out with and sponsor, and they take in and they help out homeless families or families that don't have a place to stay for a time being for whatever reason. And they're a faith-based organization as far as I understand it. And so, yeah, I have stayed over there and helped out with that a number of times. It's always a great opportunity, an excellent chance to reach out and show our support for those less fortunate here in our community. And talk to Miss Joyce Ann if you are interested in helping out with that. Okay. Moving right along. Don't forget the Gospel Jam Sunday nights at 6 p.m. at the Depot, of course. That's every single week. this is a big one. If you are missing a dish that you think you should have in your kitchen, make sure to run by the Christian Center. There are a ton of dishes that don't belong natively to the church building in the Christian Center, in the kitchen there. There's like a little cart, if I remember correctly. Uh-oh, my shirt's come undone. Good thing I'm not on camera for that. If I remember correctly, there's like a little cart or shelf or something like that with a bunch of dishes that got brought and had, for like various covered dish suppers or things like that, and were left behind possibly because they were leftovers or trash or food or whatever still on them at the end of the night. And so they got left behind at the Christian Center. They've been washed and set out to dry. And now they're just waiting there for you to come pick them back up. So if you're missing something, or if you think you brought something to a covered dish supper however long ago, we haven't had a whole lot of covered dish suppers over the past couple of years for obvious reasons. But if you think you brought one and it's not, you can't remember if you brought it home or not, and you can't find it, come check the Christian Center and see. Come pick up your personal dishes. All right. Also, this is a great chance right now. Go ahead and check out Right Now Media with this QR code on your screen right now. It is an excellent resource that our church has been partnered with for almost as long as I've been working here at this church. It's excellent. I use a lot of the Right Now Media material on in youth group on Wednesday nights. We've done several Right Now Media studies, and also sometimes I'll just watch through a study if it piques my interest. I actually watched through the entire Not a Fan study a couple of weeks ago. It's sort of like a Netflix for Christian study material, and that's awesome. It's excellent. And of course, you get your membership, your streaming ability is paid for through the partnership that the church has with them. So it's completely free. And also, if you're a parent, they've got Veggie Tales and Bible Man and all sorts of stuff like that for kids on there as well. So if you're not super thrilled with the kind of stuff that your kids are watching on Netflix or Netflix Kids or Hulu or whatever, or Disney Plus or what have you, make sure to take advantage of your free Right Now Media account and have them watching some Christian content like Veggie Tales. Everybody loves Veggie Tales. Although I have to say something about Veggie Tales, almost none of the characters on Veggie Tales are actually root vegetables. CYF Sunday School, that's right. Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. at The Rock. If you are, or if you have a teenager or child who is 6th grade and up, 6th grade through 12th really, then you are welcome to join us at The Rock for Sunday schools. We are learning about basic Christian doctrine. I know it sounds like it's kind of dry, but it is essential, in my opinion, for Christians to know exactly what the church believes and why. And not just 6th grade to 12th. Like, if you have completed 5th grade and you are within a reasonable amount of time of completing and graduating from 12th grade, you are allowed at Sunday school, Sunday mornings at The Rock. Carrying on. Camp Kicklighter, of course, is going this week. They started this week, and they will continue to go. Miss Melissa Proctor is cooking down there this week. Next week is Cairo, which, okay, forgive me if I get this completely wrong, but I think the age group for Cairo is 5th to 7th grade. I have not had a whole lot to do with Camp Kicklighter yet. since coming here to work at the church. But the pastor and I are going down next week. I might even be staying overnight to chill and hang out with our Cairo students next week. And then juniors, I believe, is fourth grade and below. Again, I could be completely wrong about that. And it says, please contact the office if you're interested. So if you've got a junior, or if you suspect you might have a junior who would be interested in going to camp, good Christian camp that our church partners with, call the office sometime tomorrow while Miss Becky is in and find out if you still have time to sign up, and also what the age range is, because like I said, I might be completely wrong with my guesses about the age ranges. Catch us online. Of course, if you're watching this, you already know how to do this, but our facebook.com/GuytonCC. YouTube, we've got the tiny URL right there, tinyurl.com/GuytonCCYT. And then, of course, that bottom one is how we take tithes and offerings in this digital age. One of the ways, anyway. So you can give online and support the church with your tithes and offerings that way. But you guys are already tech savvy. You don't need me telling you how to catch a live stream or donate online. Of course, Mr. Meaty, yes, we love you. We hope you get well soon. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I don't know how much of it, it's not really my thing to talk about. But I do know that the pastor went to visit him yesterday afternoon, and he said he had positive things to say when I saw him in the office this morning. So like I said, not really my place to speak about what Mr. Meaty is going through, and I don't know what Miss Barbara wants us to share online. Sometimes there are privacy issues with that sort of thing, so not going to talk about that too much. Of course, Amazon Smile is another way that you can support our church. There are some excuse me, there are some steps on how to do so here. And it seems like you can just donate some of the proceeds of your online purchases to our church through this process. I confess I have not bought anything from Amazon in quite some time. I'm trying to save up money and not buy frivolous things on Amazon. Not that everything you buy on Amazon is frivolous, but I'm trying to avoid making unnecessary purchases. So I have not availed myself of this yet, but maybe I can think of something beneficial to buy for myself and give a little bit back to the church through the Amazon Smile thing. Okay, what else we got here? With God, all things are possible, Matthew 19:26. And we're looping around back to the beginning. So let's just go back to the camera and get ready to close this out. So this was a short first installment. Let me just check to see if we've got anybody talking to us in the chat. And doesn't look like it, but that's okie dokie. This is our first attempt, so maybe if more people are interested, we'll continue to do something like this. We'll ramp it up. Who knows? Like I said, this is just one more way that you can stay engaged with the announcements and things of that nature, of everything that's going on in our church. You know, we're slowly and steadily getting back to normal, back to pre-COVID levels of activity, and you know, so stay tuned because there's tons of stuff coming around. One thing that was not mentioned in the announcements, but I happen to know about, is Miss Debbie Snooks, our wonderful education committee chair lady, is holding a fun event for the kids, for children 5th grade and below, Wednesday, June, I think it's 28th, but let me just clarify real quick. No, Wednesday, June 30th. The 28th is not a Wednesday, it is a Monday. See, that's why I always check calendars before I say dates for solidly, because I am a moron and I'm not really a moron, but I make goofs like that. So I think I also have some other stuff. Oh, of course, we do have the youth cookout for 6th to 12th grade. You know, like I said earlier, if you are eligible to, under the rules that I stated earlier, is a better way of saying that, if you are eligible to join us at the Rock for Sunday School, then you are eligible to join in our youth cookouts at the end of the month. They're the last Saturday of every month, unless something else comes up, like William's graduation did last month, where we held it a week early because William Hall was graduating on the last Saturday of last month. But we've got our youth cookout. That's this month. It is June the 26th. That is a Saturday at 6 p.m. Also, if you are a youth and you plan on coming to it, we are going to be participating in Family Promises, A Night Without a Bed. So Family Promise is another, it's funny, a couple of our different announcements are sort of converging in this one announcement here that I almost forgot about. But Family Promise is to sort of raise awareness for their ministry and to raise awareness, and sort of they're also they're holding this sort of event where youth groups or other people that want to support Family Promise can choose to spend a night sleeping on basically anything except their bed. The email that I received talked about, you know, the sofa or a chair or the ground, in a tent, on a cot, air mattress, bedroll, bare floor, carpet, basically anything except a bed, to remind you that, as I said earlier, there are those that are less fortunate than us, that don't have a stable housing situation and rely on people like Family Promise to get back up on their feet. So we are going to be incorporating that, our participation in that. We're going to be incorporating it into the youth cookout here at the end of the month. And so we're going to be having a lock-in or camp out. Just depends on what everybody brings and what y'all's comfort level is. Bring a tent, bring a sleeping bag, bring a bed roll, pillows, blankets, air mattresses, whatever. And we'll be sleeping in the Rock or in the backyard, depending on weather and comfort levels. So please do remember that. It is June 26th at 6 p.m. What else do we have going on? Also, our children's Sunday school is in person. That is at 10 a.m. in the Christian Center. So if you have a children or multiple children, then make sure, and especially if you're interested in participating in Dr. Moore's Adult Sunday School at 10 a.m. on Sundays, that's at the Depot. And then if you have multiple childs or singular children, make sure that they are in the Christian Center at 10 a.m. And then, of course, we've already said the older youth still in the Rock, and Dr. Moore's class is at the Depot. What else do I have here for announcements? Of course, everybody already knows about the worship service. That'll also be live, online, and in person. The gospel, excuse me, sorry about that. The gospel jam is also that evening. We've talked about that already. We talked about the Eula Power Circle. Oh, also, another big announcement for this month, the Shaw Wilkerson Annual Achievement Awards program. That is back on. They did not end up having one, having an award ceremony last year because of COVID and because so many of their participants or recognees are in the sort of medically more vulnerable category. It must be time to bring this stream to a close soon because I am losing my ability to talk. But no, so they didn't end up doing one last week or last year, but they are doing one this year, and that is Saturday, June 19th at 6:30 p.m. So if you want to participate in that, if you want to be there for that, make sure the service is in the sanctuary. So make sure to be here for that by 6:30 p.m. on the 19th. And then, of course, there is a dinner for our recipients in the Christian Center immediately following the ceremony. Of course, as always, the fill-in station is open on a drive-through basis only still from 10 to 1 p.m. And they're always in need of volunteers. So, if you have the time, if you have the ability to help out with that, please make sure it's in the cafeteria building of the old Effingham Middle School, which, as I understand it, was also the old Effingham County High School back when my mother was going to school and folks of her generation. But yeah, so that is all of the announcements that I had. So bringing it to a close. Don't see any comments, concerns, questions, dialogue, threats, nothing like that. The internet has been gentle and kind to me this time around. So, all right, everybody. God bless. Let's say a quick word of prayer, and then I'll let y'all get back to your regularly scheduled Wednesday evening. Let's pray. Gracious God, I just thank you so much for this church, and I thank you for the streaming infrastructure that we've been able to develop over the past couple of years, and its capacity to allow us to reach an ever-widening circle of those in need, God. And we know that we all need you. And I just ask that you would continue to draw us ever nearer to you. And it's in Christ's name that I ask this. Amen. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I will see you next week.